This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Mark Tibbs here in London. Mark, it's always a pleasure. A couple of you guys down here at the Matchroom gym today, getting some sparring in there with Tommy Fletcher. Just walking me through how he's looking ahead of his ring return.
Tommy's he's coming on really well. He's always a pleasure to train and be around. A phenomenal puncher, as you know, with both hands, but he's still a young lion. He had some good rounds with Jordan Thompson for probably the last 2 weeks. Jordan's fighting for the cruiserweight world title, so I thought it would be a good opportunity for Tommy to get some seasoning, and he has so. And he had his last spar today, and with none other better Craig Richards, and Craig's he's like to Tommy, he's a veteran. You know what I mean? To Tommy, he's a veteran. He's a world title campaigner himself, like heavyweight. So he's finished Tommy Fletcher last spar today. So over the moon, gave him good work.
Tommy obviously at a very early stage of his career, Mark, but when you look at his progression, what you're hoping that he can show next weekend when he makes his return?
Well, listen, look, he's still, he's got to be a bit busier in all his work because he knows he's a puncher. He looks for that big punch, but his boxing. I mean, mixing with the likes of Craig Richards will bring people on. I used Richard Riakapor years ago with Craig, and he updated his boxing skills and seasoning sort of thing. But on Saturday, Tom's going to be on point, accurate, and I really believe he's going to look good on Saturday, and that's what he's got to keep doing. He's a young lion. He's got a little way to go, but it'd be over in a flash if he Kevin Mitchell there just taking a piss out of me in the background. No, yeah, Tommy's looking very good, and he's always exciting to be with him on fight night because of his punch power. But yeah, so 6 rounds, he's going to look good.
Obviously, that fight next weekend is on the card of Zhang-Joyce versus Zhang-Joyce too. What do you think happens in that main event? Will Joe reverse the result of the first fight?
I hope so, and I think he can. Zhang-Joyce, I don't call him the juggernaut for nothing, so as long as he's gained that 2 stone, that 24 pounds that he took off for the first fight, as long as he's put that on, we should have the juggernaut back again. Yeah, and I'll back our man, the juggernaut, yeah.
Just away from obviously sticking with the heavyweights though, Johnny Fisher, how's Johnny doing?
Johnny, I saw him last Saturday. He done a hill session with me over in Hainault Forest. He done it very well. We done some endurance and some speed, but from where he is, take care, my love. To see where he, not to see where he is, for where he is in his camp. There was a little workout I was doing, and so he done that. He done it really well. He's taking a little vacation at the minute, but he'll be back soon, and looking forward to him fighting. Please God, fingers crossed. It's all up to S-Jam and Eddie Hearn where he's going to fight next. But what a performance that was! Do you like that?
Yeah, it was a fantastic win against Harry Armstrong, and with that in mind, I was going to lead into my next question. I did an interview with Fraser Clark in Manchester, who fought on the Smith Eubank Jr. card, and up until this point, Johnny hasn't been mentioned with, say, the Frasers, the David Adelays, the Fabio Wardleys. But Fraser went out his way to kind of mention Johnny on the back of his performance against Harry. Would you say Johnny is in and amongst those other names now, the Frasers, the Adelays, the Wardleys, or do you think he's still beneath it?
Well, listen, probably like in the eyes of, I know what Johnny's made of, yeah? Right, I know what Johnny's made of, and we don't want to come out the traps too early. Let's soak up where we're at right now. Let's get a little bit more experience, and listen, if push come to shove and my back was against the wall and he had to get in with them men, listen, what a man to go to war with the attributes of Johnny Fisher. But we've got to box smart and cleverly with Johnny, and because he put on a flawless performance against Harry Armstrong that night for the Southern Area heavyweight title, don't mean to say we can let him off the leash yet. We've still got to hone in on them skills so he does it naturally. All of them skills.
John Hedges was also down here today, just going for a session with you. How's John looking?
John is he's like a Ferrari, man. His boxing skills is just natural, and he's breaking in that backhand, his left cross, because he had an operation on it. And so we're doing some paddles at the Origin gym and here at the Matchroom gym. And in the last couple of weeks, he's followed me around with Tom and kept an eye on the sparring, because he'll be sparring with these sort of guys. But not before too long, if you know what I mean. Once that heals, yeah.
And Mark, just also got you some fights to get your thoughts on. Wood Warrington is on the horizon. Will Lee Wood or Josh Warrington? Lee Wood and Josh Warrington. Who do you think is going to come out on top on that one on October 7th?
Fancy Wood. Yeah.
How do you think it will end or go about?
Can punch, can't he? He can punch. I think I like Warrington. Good style, good crowd pleaser, big following and all of that. But I just fancy stylistically, I think Lee's style beats Warrington, and probably inside distance. Yeah.
And then Mark, also we've had that Liam Smith-Chris Eubank Jr. fight recently. What did you make of Junior reversing the result of the first fight?
He done a good job, didn't he? He done a good job, but he done a good job. He fought what was in front of him, whether what was in front of him wasn't A1 or up to speed, so to speak. He done his job, and good luck to him. I was quite pleased for him, really. But listen, I did think Smith. I did it the other way round at the first time. I did think Smith would do a repeat, but obviously you could tell that things weren't quite right going on in there, and can't take nothing away from Chris Eubank Jr. because I think he's good for the game. Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of talk about Eubank Jr. and kind of Ben facing each other in the near future, getting that fight on once and for all. From the most recent version of Chris Eubank Jr. we saw against Liam Smith, how do you think a fight between him and Conor would go now? Great
fight. What a fight. Fantastic fight. Styles, and because of their father's history, it's a natural fight, and something that we have to see. Let's hope we can see it before the Fury and Usyk. That's, what I'm saying. But no, it'd be a good fight if that comes off. I hope it comes off. Is there talks of it? Is it how close it is? I know there's talks of it.
There's talks maybe the end of the year. It seems to be what's being mentioned at the minute. That's what Tony said to me upstairs.
Yeah. I've had I've seen, since I've been over here, I've seen Conor. At the end of sessions and that looks very well. Looks very well, actually. Looks really good, and that'd be a great fight, him and Eubank, for sure.
Who would you pick and why?
Do you know what? I very rarely sit on the fence, but it's a real good fight, because Eubank Jr. his confidence is going to be up. Obviously, I mean, he don't lack it, and Conor's raring to go, absolutely raring to go. You can just see and feel that from being in here. I can't pick a winner. I like both styles. I thought Eubank's left jab was fantastic his last time out. I never got to see the first Smith fight. I only saw the highlights, but I watched it just before this second fight, because and I thought his jab come on tremendously, because I always thought he was a short arm puncher, but he's got long and all now, and so I think but Conor gets inside that distance. He's very ferocious, and fast and ferocious, and can punch. So got to lean towards Ben. I've got to lean towards Ben, but be a great fight. Be a good fight for both men and British boxing. Yeah.
Well, Mark, I can see Tommy's just slightly warming down there now, and you probably want to get ready to shoot off. So I appreciate you jumping in and doing this interview. And thanks for speaking to me in Boxing News.
You've just gave me a little bit of psychology. I've had to think about that fight, and now I've made my decision. Andy, top man, mate. Top man. Speak soon.